Okay, as you know, this uh, virus is a big item in people's minds, and people are concerned about it. And so I thought we'd talk a little bit about that and our approach to it. And first thing I'm going to do, there's a mantra of unification that DK gave out that is particularly pertinent to this. And there's one line in this that is particularly good, but I thought maybe we'd first of all say this mantra together. And I'll say the line slowly, then after I say it, just repeat it in your minds or to yourself as we move along through this. First of all, we'll sound the Om. Om. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all men love. I can't remember for sure when this was given out, but it seemed like it was given out during World War II. And the key sentence I want you to focus on this, in this, is he says, let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. So like during World War II, it looked like there was nothing, no love that underlied the happenings of the time. Uh, a lot of people just saw nothing but negative stuff happening. Yet he says that even in periods of great distress, if you see correctly, you will see the light and love that underlies the happenings of the time. So right now, the happenings of this time seem pretty dire. We have the virus and spreading like wildfire. We have even more devastating right now is the economy is tanking all over the world, producing tremendous distress. People losing money in their stock market, their business, a lot of people losing their jobs temporarily at least, not knowing when they'll come back. So where is the light and love that underlies the happenings of the time? What do you think about that? Where is the light and the love? Is there some type, they say that for every event that happens, there's a silver lining in that. There's good that will manifest out of it. What what do you think the desired good that is seen by the hierarchy? How do you think they see this? And how do you think that they will see a good manifesting from this?
When you look at the greed and the ignorance that have befell humanity for the last millennium, so to speak, I see this as a very poignant time. Humanity has to be squeezed through a very small hole to come out on the other side remade, made whole. there's so much selfishness and so much greed, so much ignorance in humanity, and these times make people very open to looking for solutions. And this is a time where we have to do our best to spread the truth.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Any other comment?
I talked to my friend earlier in Venice, California, and he said that the canals had fish in them again, and all the wildlife seemed to be coming back in California. Yeah.
Really?
So
Well, that's
good.
interesting.
Yeah, I think
Development.
nature is actually curing itself a little bit from this.
Let's try to envision us looking at this from the viewpoint of the spiritual hierarchy, which has power to influence great events. Let's suppose that they saw the world was heading toward a great confrontation of war. We're very close to war with Iran. Tremendous tension between us and Russia. A lot of people wanting Trump to just tell Putin off all the time so much that they might throw a nuclear weapon our way or something. North Korea is a big problem. Afghanistan. Now, what has this disease done to the world? Is there focus now on war, or is it on trying to just get control of this disease? Is that a benefit then? What do you think about that?
I think it's an opportunity for unity.
Theme is to bring us together.
Okay.
And that seems to be what it's doing.
What'd you say, Stacy? I didn't get the first part of your
I
sentence.
said maybe the plan is to bring us together as one and worldwide, and it seems like this is kind of unfolding in that type of a plan.
Right, like look at Iran right now. Is their main goal to develop a nuclear bomb or to cure this disease? So it's changed the focus of the whole world. Matter of fact, Reagan, I think it was Reagan who once said that if we were attacked from outer space, everybody would quit focusing on each other and we would have a common enemy to bring the world together. So this is a little bit like that. It's an attack on the whole world is under attack by a common enemy. And that's what brought the United States together in the beginning. The states were threatening war with each other. When people don't realize this, but when you look back on the early history of the United States before we were concretized as a country, sections of the country were war and had boundary disputes with other sections, and German immigrants were at odds with Irish immigrants and so on. And so there was a lot of disruption and a lot of conflict. And this was a big problem. And then all of a sudden, when we fought the Revolutionary War, we wound up with a common enemy. And because we had a common enemy, all of a sudden it brought us together, not perfectly by any means, but brought us together much more than we ever were before. And so right now, the whole world has a common enemy. And perhaps the hierarchy maybe looks at this and sees light and love that underlies the happenings of the time that will help to actually bring the new age somehow. This may be an event that, of course, the people that suffer from it and have the disease and are suffering and die or have friends die, you know, that we go through a lot. No matter what happens, there's good and bad. And the people that suffer, we you know, they certainly have cause to complain. But what the hierarchy looks at is the overall picture. They always look at the overall picture. What's the overall good that's going to happen? And there's a strong possibility that there's a tremendous opportunity for the world to come together. If the world is struggling to with the same goal, that makes us realize that we're all on the same boat together, that we're all brothers and sisters and not really enemies of each other. Does that make sense?
It does to me. I keep seeing people all over the world. You could go to any street, any city, any country in the world and talk to the guy on the street and start exchanging Aquarian age principles. And oh yeah, we are. They all recognize they might not know what an Aquarian age is, but everybody in the world seems to recognize that yeah, the world's it's going through a change. It's going to be a better place here pretty soon. It's all over. They all know it.
Yeah, I think our biggest danger, even bigger than the virus, is a potential economic collapse. Say if the dollar were to collapse or something, that's a danger that we're going through, and hopefully we can survive that. And after the virus gets under control, we can get the economy back on track. That's a big concern, but something we as individuals don't have any power over. Our responsibility is to ride things through, take care of business the best that we can, and move on from there, and have faith that the events are proceeding according to some master plan. And if this is so, then that should give us a certain amount of comfort there. But
the economy of the new age has to change, and the only way it can change, it has to be first broken.
yeah, you know, DK predicted that there would be a lot of stress that would make us realize the essentials, because he says that people think they need a lot more than they do need to be happy. They think they need a lot of material possessions and everything. And what one thing this is doing for us is making us realize how many things we can do without. And be nice to have them back, of course, to be able to go out to a football game or whatever, and out to dinner and things like this. But we're doing without a lot of things, and our quality of life should not be diminished. We should be able to use that time that we have, even though we're somewhat isolated, to an advantage, and come to realizations that we do not need everything the world has to offer to be happy, to be content, to enjoy our lives. So one of the things the disciples need to do during this period is say, I can enjoy my life just as much now as I could before the virus hits. That's a signal that we need to give ourselves to make the best of this situation. Okay. Any other comments or questions before we proceed?
Well, I'm preparing my garden the same as I have every year, and without any hesitation.
Yeah, just continue life on as normal as possible. And also realize there's things we have control over and things we don't have control over. The things we don't have control over, just don't let them control you. Just ignore it as much as possible and proceed with your life as normal as it can be. Okay. I thought we would go into what we can do to strengthen ourselves. So if the time comes that we are threatened with the virus or ill health, that we can do what we can to strengthen ourselves and to give us the greatest immunity possible. Before I do that, I come across this quote from Gandhi, which is really good as far as we were talking earlier about shortages of toilet paper and things like this. He said this: "The world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed." Really like that quote. And it's really true. You know, you think of some of these executives making 100 times more than the average employee. And if the wages were fair, if the distribution were more fair, if this, just taking the toilet paper example, for instance, if just average people wouldn't go grab more than their share, then there'd be enough for everybody, like there generally is. And so if there's plenty out there in the world to take care of everybody, if greed doesn't enter in, and if people have a sense of fair play and sharing. So I really like that quote. But moving on here, we're going to talk about things to strengthen us so that we can resist getting this flu. And there's I'm going to present to you something that two things that I've done that's made a difference for me. I used to get a cold about once a year in the wintertime, you know, usually around November or something. I'd come down with a cold that kind of set me back for a few days to a week, or sometimes more if it was a really bad one. But I come across this article that said they did this study, and this doesn't hocus pocus, but this was an actual study that they did with garlic. That people who crushed garlic and a clove of garlic, good sized clove, you put it through a garlic squeezer, garlic press. And then after you put it through there, you let it sit between 5 to 15 minutes. And this is a key ingredient because it releases a chemical in there called allicin, which is antibacterial, almost like penicillin or something, but with no side effects at all. So you let it sit there, you kind of spread it out, let it sit there for 5 to 15 minutes, and this allicin is released, okay? And this is the magic ingredient. And then you just put it on cheese and crackers or something and eat it. And do that once a day. And this research that I read said that people who did this had 40% fewer colds. And if they did have a cold, the cold was 40% less severe. So I thought that, if you know, that makes sense to me. If study shows that that potent, then I'm going to try it out. So I tried it out, and I did it for about 5 years, and in the 5 years, instead of getting a cold once a year, I got one cold during that 5-year time period. And the one cold I got was about 40% less severe than normal, just about like they said. So anyway, that's really good to ward off any type of virus or illness, is to take that clove of garlic a day. But remember, the key thing is to put it through a garlic press, let it sit there till that the chemical reaction kind of takes place and releases that allicin, and just it's pretty potent. to eat that way. But if you spread it out thinly on a couple cheese and crackers or something, or or maybe add it to some soup or something you're eating, then as long as it's not too concentrated, it goes down pretty good. It can even act as a flavoring. But
And
that's
I have another recipe. Of course, this is garlic.
okay.
Two bowls of garlic, 2 heads of garlic, two full lemon. You peel the skin. You put in a jar. Blend the garlic first with the hand blender. Put the lemons there. Blend it together, and half a liter of honey.
Half a liter of what?
Honey, pure honey.
Holly.
Yeah, honey.
Oh, honey. Oh, okay. So
And mix it up.
lemon juice, garlic, and honey.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
mix it up all together, leave in a jar for like, half a day, and it's ready to go. One kind of like a teaspoon in the morning before food, and one spoon of tea at the end of the day, and you're done. I'm telling you, miracle.
How much do you make at a time?
So it's a, half a liter honey, and then, 2 heads
Oh,
of
half a liter.
and two full lemons. You peel the skin and chop it up, everything together, and it just absolutely work phenomenal.
You say a half a liter of honey?
Half a liter honey, yeah.
That's a lot of honey.
Yes. Oh, it's just recipe, but works perfectly. I'm telling you guys.
It's a very tasty too. It doesn't have like the garlic adjective, but you need 2 full heads of garlic, not cloves, the heads. 2 full big garlics, 2 lemons, 2 full lemons, and half a liter honey. It's very
Two actual bulbs of honey. I mean, of garlic.
yeah, 2 bulbs. Yes, 2 bulbs. Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's very,
And then how much? You say a whole half a liter of honey?
yes.
Yeah, half a liter.
That's a lot. Okay. Do you put any water in?
No water.
No water.
Yeah.
Okay. Honey, garlic, and
Lemon. And
lemon.
2 lemons.
How much lemon?
2 full lemons.
2 full lemons.
Just to peel the skin, right? Just take the skin
Okay.
out. Right?
Then you just take a little couple times a day.
Yeah.
One-
One in the morning, one before bedtime.
1 teaspoon in the morning and 1 teaspoon at night. That's it.
Okay. That's one I haven't tried before.
And it also supposedly also lower cholesterol like by half, whatever.
Is that some secret Polish recipe of some type?
Polish recipe. Yes, it is.
Do you crush up the garlic first?
No, what you do, you can, with the way we do it, I put lemon first in a jar that it's gonna already stay in, like a liter jar from like a pickles or something, and,
Okay.
and I blend that with the hand blender, the lemon, and then I put garlic into it and mix that again, and then after that's all mixed, I pour the honey into it and just mix
No,
it.
I mean, do you leave the cloves of
Yeah.
garlic whole?
Yes, because once you use the hand blender, it's all gonna be puree.
Oh, I see. Okay. I
Oh,
see.
you blend it later?
Yes, you blend it in the jar that's already gonna stay in.
How do you blend it?
Well, with the hand blender.
Oh, okay. So does that kind of crush the garlic up?
Yeah, I'll show it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crushed totally. And I'm telling you guys, if you're gonna try once, that recipe never gonna leave your kitchen.
So if you get a cold or something, that kind of wipes it out?
You don't even get a cold.
Oh, okay. It's a good preventative, right?
Make you.
Oh, yeah, we got one of those. Okay.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
how I do the work.
Make your immune system unbelievable strong.
Oh, okay.
I think I like the Mark Twain school of thought on healing. He knew a guy that got caught a cold or something, and he died 3 days later. And Mark Twain said the man just hadn't kept up on his habits, and by that he meant it's like he says I smoke cigars and I drink whiskey, to excess on a daily basis. If I feel anything coming on, I have these habits. I can cut back on my smoking and drinking, and I feel like amazing. It heals me. And so, the man just hadn't kept up his habits.
Yeah. Yeah, Juan, you ought to maybe write that up, your recipe for that mixture, and post it
Yeah,
for
I'm
us.
telling you guys, this is just a revolutionary thing.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna, yeah, like I said, if you're gonna keep doing this, you're not gonna have any problem. No running nose. It's just absolutely phenomenal thing.
This is what it looks like after it's all blended. It looks like a
Oh, yeah? Oh.
mashed liquidy. So it's really very tasty, and the honey mixes with that very easily with the lemon juice and the garlic. Yeah,
Oh. Oh.
you can just mix
Do
it
you
with
guys take it year round or just in the winter?
Yes, we all year round.
All year round, huh?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it stays good at room temperature for a
No.
long.
I keep it in the fridge.
Switch.
Oh, in the fridge. Okay.
But doesn't, as soon as you mix this jar, gonna take you, if you one person, gonna take you maybe 2 months to finish.
Okay.
And then after 2 months, you mix another one, and that's it. It's just maybe you can use less during the summertime, but all year round, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've got one that's kind of a weird one, but it works. Let me I'm going to put it on share and show it to you. This is a little gizmo. It's made of copper, and it's called the Copper Zap. To be able to buy it, just Google Copper Zap. And what you do is you put this up your nose. As soon as you feel a cold or flu or something coming on that's any type of a virus or germ related, put that up your nose and hold it there for a couple minutes, and then do the other nostril. It zaps it right in the beginning. And yeah, I've been using this for about 3 years and haven't had any cold or anything, but I felt it coming on. What you do is, as soon as you feel it coming on, because when you get a cold or a flu or something, you kind of start feeling it kind of creeping in there. You put this up your nose, and then a few hours later, it's just gone. So you don't feel it anymore. But I swear this thing actually works. So you can get a coupon on this. It sells for $69.95. If you Google Copper Zap coupon, you can get a $10 coupon to get $10 off on it. But anyway, that's kind of a really unorthodox one that sounds kind of weird, but I read a bunch of testimonials on it, so I tried it out, and it really does seem to work. So if you're getting the, I don't know if it would prevent the coronavirus or not, but strong possibility it could. So if you want to take extra preventive measures, this would be a good investment. Okay. Me get back here. Now, there's a number of herbs you can take to help fight something like this virus if you or anyone you know is threatened by it. There's a number of really good herbs. A very powerful one is oregano oil. It's very powerful, and you get the wild oil is a lot better than the domestic oil. It's more potent. And you put, they say you put 1 drop of this in a gallon of water, it'll kill any germs or anything. So it'll disinfect it completely. But I put about 3 drops in like a half a glass of water and just drink it. And it's very powerful. It kills just about any germs that may be causing you any problem. And also helps if you got an upset stomach or something like that. And if you have like flu-like symptoms, golden seal root powder is very good. You can get this in pill form or powder form. The most potent is in powder form. You mix it in with some water and drink it, but the taste is knocks you out of this world just about. But until you get used to it, so most people get it in tablet or pill form. And if you get flu-like symptoms, this sometimes will just knock it out in a couple hours. It's very powerful. Another one is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is very powerful. It stimulates your immune system, your entire metabolism, makes you feel warmer all over, so to speak. And this is also really good for the flu. And a good recipe for this, similar to Juan's, is you take say like a glass of water, warm it up, but don't warm it up to boiling, but warm it up, say around 140 degrees or so. Put some raw honey in, tablespoon of raw honey, and cayenne pepper and lemon juice to taste. Mix it all up to taste, and then drink a glass of that a couple of times a day, and that's has tremendous healing power. It's also good to fast with. If you go on a 10-day fast drinking nothing but that, I mean, it'll just about cure anything. So, but it takes about a 10-day fast to really do it. But and don't go on a 10-day fast unless your body's already pretty clean. If your body isn't really cleaned out very good, it's good to start with a 3-day fast. Most people can go on a 3-day fast without any negative repercussions. But if you can go on a 10-day fast, just eating cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and honey, eat nothing but that for 10 days. It'll really revitalize your whole body. Haven't done that for some time. I have to do that again one of these first days. And then fasting in general, you can also just fast, just drinking nothing but purified water is also very potent. But fasting itself is a very strong cure. Matter of fact, it's nature's way of curing, because you'll notice whenever you come down with the flu or something like that, you don't feel like eating very much. You almost have to force yourself to eat. That's because your nature is trying to get you to not eat. Because if you do not eat, what happens when you do eat is it takes a lot of energy from your system to digest the food. And if you're not digesting food, then your body has a lot of extra energy to rid itself of impurities. So if you're fasting, you have tremendous power to, your body has tremendous power to take the impurities out of your system that's causing you problems. And so what I've been doing the past few years is I've been doing the intermittent fasting. I found that when in the past, I always had a midnight snack. I don't usually go to bed till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And about midnight, I start getting hungry. So I always ate a midnight snack. And then I read about this intermittent fasting idea. And so I quit that, and I generally go about 18 hours a day now without eating anything. And this gives your body a lot more power to stay healthy and to rid itself of impurities. And it also helps with your weight. I lost some significant weight on this intermittent fasting. But I didn't eat a very big midnight snack, but it was big enough apparently to make a difference. So just eliminating that midnight snack did a lot for my physical well-being. Okay. Colloidal silver is also very good. Matter of fact, there's been a bunch of flack in the news media about how this is a quacky uh, um, uh, treatment of some type, but it's really not. It's ionic or preferably colloidal silver is almost like an antibiotic, but with no side effects, unless you were to really take too much of it.
And
So,
it's easy to make too.
what'd say?
It's easy to make too.
Yeah, you might have to make it right now because everybody sold out of it. So
Oh, well, you just
apparently
need,
quite a few people know about silver because you can't hardly buy it in a health food store anywhere or
all you
buy the
need to
cost.
do is take 2 silver rods and then connect one end to a negative and one end to a positive, and take 3 9-volt batteries and connect them to each other, and
Oh,
um, it'll make colloidal silver.
Only Rick's daughter would come up with something like that.
I've seen it done, and it's really cool. It's amazing. You can
Yeah.
see, I could probably find a video on it and send it.
Well, I read that in olden times, before they had penicillin and everything, people would take a silver dollar and they put it in a glass of water overnight and then drink it in the morning for killing it, to kill germs. But yeah, I read that they did that a long time ago.
JJ,
Yeah.
the 2 things that Laurie Wright recommended to my family were
Yeah.
the colloidal silver and echinacea. The echinacea and also mangosteen. I don't know if you're familiar with mangosteen. She said that she felt that those 3 were the strongest against this particular virus.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your echinacea about 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day for 10 days.
I never got much results with echinacea, but my wife likes it a lot. But I think some people benefit more from one thing than another. So what I think a person needs to do is test some of these out and see how they respond. I'm pretty sensitive to my body, so what I do is when I try a new thing, I try to really tune in and say, now, does my body like this or not? And so I think that's really important. But yeah, those are all good things to try out. And how about you? Have you tried them out, Rulina?
Yeah, that's what we are using.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
They won't hurt you, that's for sure. They're all good for you
yes.
in the right doses. Yeah. Another thing that you don't hear talked about too much is coconut oil. Organic coconut oil. If you're starting to feel flu-like symptoms or anything, take a tablespoon of it and just wolf it down, and it's kind of well, the taste isn't that great, but you get used to it after a while. But if you mix it with something else, it's easy to take. But I just take it straight, and I will feel better sometimes within 100% better within an hour. Sometimes after taking a big tablespoon of the just coconut oil. So that's another good one. And okay, does anybody else have their favorite tips they want to add?
I learned my favorite from Mindy years ago. She called it the water cure, and you just drink in one sitting. You know, just you down a liter of purified water, and it'll cure most anything.
Yeah, I've read about that. That if you just drink just tons and tons of water. Now, did you know you could drink enough water that you can get drunk? Have you ever heard that?
Don't
Yeah,
tell
if you drink too much water, it actually makes you feel drunk. I've never drank that much. My wife criticizes me for not drinking enough water. She's a big water person.
It's probably because you have to go to the bathroom so much.
Yeah, right. That's one negative on it.
Also,
yeah,
definitely check out getting chaga mushrooms. CHAGA.
I never heard of that type of mushroom.
It's they grow off of birch trees. They're in colder climates like Russia. They're antiviral, anti-aging. They help fight cancer. I drink it every day.
Where do you buy it
Really
at?
I order mine from Russia.
Russia?
You can get it at Walmart. You can get it on Etsy. You can get it online on Amazon. You can,
Oh, you can?
yeah, you can get it
Oh.
online. Mhm.
How do you spell it? How do you spell that?
CHAGA.
CHAGA.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, and there's a number of mushrooms out there that will fight COVID-19.
Yeah, I started microdosing today.
Yeah, they say like the shiitake mushrooms, they supposed to fight cancer, and
Turkey
And-
tail does.
then there's um, mushrooms that give you LSD type experiences. Never tried those, but would be interesting to try.
They're good in microdose. They actually have a lot of healing effects. They have done studies at Harvard for PTSD and depression and anxiety. If you take them 1/10 of a gram instead of taking 5 grams and having like the hallucinogens and all that, if you take just 1/10 of a gram for 4 days on and then 3 days without, it will give you a boost of happiness and clarity, and yeah, there's a lot of studies
Interesting.
on it. Mhm.
Well,
Back in
Solomon,
back in the 60s, I lived in a hippie commune, and we had a case of dysentery that affected the entire commune. And somebody brought in LSD and gave everybody a dose, and within an hour, nobody had dysentery anymore.
really? I've never heard that. I've never heard that benefit before.
I guarantee it happened to me. And
How
in the
about,
whole community, there wasn't a case left.
I'll be darned. How about you, Solomon, over in Nigeria there? What do they do for colds and flus over there?
Well, we hardly have a serious cold like you out
Yeah.
there in the US. We hardly have a serious cold like you there in the US. Here is very hot.
Yeah.
So, most of the solutions mentioned here, they are things that we do to take care of cold in Nigeria. You know, most of the things already mentioned, like garlic and stuff like that, to mention that.
Yeah.
Ginger
Okay.
and honey, that's what I see.
You're breaking up again. You're a little hard to hear, but sounds like you've got some
Ginger, honey,
going
cinnamon,
there.
and stuff like that we mix together.
Oh, okay.
And if you really want to feel very hot, we have with a very
Okay.
oh, sorry. And, the kind of soup we call pepper soup is made with chili pepper. So we have some other spices to it. It helps
Yeah. Oh, good.
to probably cool.
Okay.
Medium. Yes.
And
So coupled with a lot of solutions already mentioned here.
okay. And Mindy, you seem to always be in pretty good health. What do you do to stay healthy?
I'm a big believer in sunshine.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, that was on my list. I was going to mention that. Okay. Well, tell us about sunshine.
Well, I kind of follow Dr. Cruz's advice to be in the outside when the sun comes up in the morning. And he explains how it affects the mitochondria within our bodies.
You know, my wife's been reading about that, and she's been getting morning sunshine every day here for the
Good.
past month or so.
Good for her. And then I've got a little combination I mix up for when people are getting a cold or something. And it's a lot of everything that you guys said. I use apple cider vinegar, honey, lemon, cayenne, oregano, and I came with ginger, I think was the last one. I just mix it together and drink it.
Oh, okay. And speaking of sunshine, Dr. McCullough has written quite a bit about it, and he's such a big believer in it. He moved to Florida so he could get sunshine in the wintertime. He moved to Florida just for that purpose. He says that the best sunshine is when, for overall health, is when the sun is up to about 45 degrees on the horizon and higher. And the more sun, more intense the sun, the better, and you get more ultraviolet light that destroys any germs and everything. So he goes on a walk in the middle of the day when the sun is at its height. And so anyway, he's a big believer in that. If you go to McCullough's site and read what he says about sunshine, that he's got some pretty good information about it. But the ultraviolet light, some people say negative things about it, but he's very positive in the fact that he thinks it's this very stimulating for our immune system and our overall general health. And okay. What's that?
Say that the ultraviolet light is only harmful to the eyes, but not to the body.
Yeah. Okay. It's yeah, your voice isn't coming through very good, unfortunately, there, Solomon. I'd really like to hear you more clearly. If kind of breaking up there a little bit, but
I was saying that ultraviolet light is only harmful to the eyes, but is good for the overall health of the body.
oh, okay, ultraviolet light, yeah, okay. Yeah, you probably have pretty good sunshine where you're at, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, any other comments or questions or tips how to stay healthy from anybody else before we sign off? How about you, Asaf? What do they do over there in Israel to stay healthy?
I don't know. I stay home all the time.
Yeah.
Nothing special. But the recipe of the honey, lemon, and garlic, I heard of it. I think it's something from Eastern Europe because it's very common here in Israel too. Yeah.
Okay.
The easiest way to get a cold is to have kids that go to school.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, they're big carriers, and you can be have no problem at all, and then be around some grandkids, and all of a sudden, that's when you feel something coming on. So yeah, that's when you got to pay particular attention. That's true. When
we were babies, they used to take us out for sun baths, sun bath.
Oh yeah.
To bath in the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sun's a really good item, and this is one thing that DK emphasizes is sunshine. He also emphasizes eating lots of oranges. But yeah, oranges is always good. Fresh oranges, a lot better. Don't get the bottled juice. Get fresh oranges, fresh lemons. They're really, really good for you. Okay, any other comments or questions before we sign off?
I think it's also important to experiment with looking at the esoteric meaning behind all of these things. There's some good resources out there online. I don't know that they're always correct, but I know I'm in the habit of looking up things like colds. are supposed to have to do with confusion in your life. So I always do affirmations. I'm not confused whenever something disturbs me. Flus are usually associated with fear. Stuff like that. I think it helps to at least do some self-affirmation in your head in a positive direction to kind of help alleviate these symptoms.
Yeah, a lady named Unitarian lady named or Unity lady named Catherine Ann Ponder wrote a book on that. I can't remember the name of the book, but it was Laws of Healing or something like that. And she pointed out how every disease has a corresponding event that's happening in your life that needs to be looked at. In other words, a problem that you had like is colds with confusion was what you read. Okay, so in other words, when you have a disease or a problem, a physical problem, it's a signal to you that you need to make some type of change in your life. And it shows you where your weakness is. And also what part of your body the disease or trouble is in is also a signal as to the type of approach you need to make change. So in other words, if we were, the theory is if we were perfect people to begin with, we would never get ill. But illnesses show us where our weaknesses are if we contemplate them. So that's a really good thought there, Adam. And but if you want to Google or look on Amazon, Catherine Ann Ponder on her books on healing, there she goes into these correspondences and she gives some pretty good insights.
Also, when you're stressed is when your body is not able to fight off disease. So meditation helps to get yourself into a homeostasis type of situation so you can heal yourself. So the more you meditate, the better, the less stressed you are, the less sick you get.
Yeah, stress is really a big item, and meditation helps to relieve stress. So that's a good point. Okay, any other comments or questions before we sign off? Yeah, I thought it'd be good just to sit around and talk a little bit today about things we can do to improve our health and our immune system. So if we are threatened with the virus, we can resist it. Because even during the Black Death destroyed 1/3 of Europe. I mean, yet even with the Black Death, where a tremendous number of people got it, there were still people that didn't get it. And why were those people that didn't get it, why didn't they get it? You know, that's a question that a lot of people don't ask. And the reason that they didn't get it was their immune system was higher, their state of mind was in a higher state. Maybe they also inherited a stronger system. There's a number of ingredients, but that's what we want. We want to put ourselves in a situation that if we are threatened with the virus, we can withstand it. And if you can withstand it, then you can help those who do need help. Okay. Okay, everybody, appreciate you being here, and we will look forward to seeing you next week, next Sunday at 10 o'clock. And hopefully we can return to normal and talk about normal stuff again.
Visualize health. Visualize health. Be still and know and visualize health.
Yeah. So we will see you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Take care.